million in hand next time I see you. Or she dies.
If he's on Monet about Dante, then he's definitely on to me.
I have a plan to take him out of play.
Tariq, keep your head on a swivel.
Always.
So after an explosive start to Power Book 2 Go Season 3, Episode 2 was about getting the wheels in motion for the rest of the season. We saw where the characters are in terms of need versus greed, and they've certainly laid the foundation for Lorenzo's death, Kane leading the Tejada organization, but also how this will cause a conflict with Dru. Dru, who's no longer with Ev, will only have the game to turn to, and we saw how he unleashed his inner demon. So when he learns Kane's taken control, this is when we're gonna see the brothers butt heads, but more so when we see Lorenzo's inevitable death. Now in the meantime, Diana seems like she's caught the attention of Obi, so Tariq and the rest of the crew need to move their product, and they need to do it quick. But breathing down their neck isn't just Obi and Noma, but also Detective Whitman, Jenny Sullivan, and Blanca Rodriguez. They have enough ammo to get the authorization for the RICO case, and so Tariq St. Patrick, the Tejadas, as well as Davis, are in big trouble. So it really is in Davis's best interest to keep them at bay, but is he distracted with his brother Theo? If at any stage Davis takes his eye off the ball, then law enforcement will be ready to pounce, which in turn will have devastating consequences for Monet Tejada, who does look like she's one of the main suspects this season in Power Book 2 Ghost Season 3. Now the title for episode 3 is Human Capital, and the synopsis reads, Tariq and the rest of the team must find a way to get the product flowing at an even bigger scale. Tensions rise among the Tejadas when Lorenzo backs Kane's plan. Meanwhile, Saxe will dig into the Theo Rollins case. Now what do they mean by human capital? In normal circumstances, it refers to skills, knowledge, and experience. It's basically how people are viewed in terms of their value to their organization. So how does this relate to the drug game and Tariq St. Patrick's organization? Now in context of the drug game, we can look at this in terms of those involved. There's Tariq, Effie, Brayden, and Kane. Now all of these are assets to their organization, and they bring different sets of skills and knowledge as a means to turn profit. Tariq is the money man, he normally comes up with the strategic plans. Kane handles the streets, Brayden is in the boardroom, and we now see Effie stepping on the product to create an extra brick, a brick which she pocketed, which is a stark reminder that she wants to be her own woman, and she will definitely do what's best for herself.
Don't forget, Tariq, some of us are only doing this because we have to.
Wait, so you think I'm here because I want to be Effie?
Now sooner or later we're gonna see Tariq and Effie definitely clash, because they are way too alike, but the skill sets that Effie showed in episode 2, I don't think any of the guys have that. Now where she learned to cut these bricks from and where she got the experience is a different question entirely, but that's what makes Effie's character mysterious, and there are still so many unanswered questions, and I do think the writers do actually enjoy toying with the idea that we don't know about her past and history, and the longer it goes, it just adds more to the mystery and suspense. Now just referring back to human capital, another skill set that Effie showed us she has in episode 2 is she can code, but she has somewhat imitated course correct with course perfect, and it does seem like they're going to use this new app to get off the ground, where Effie seems to be taking the lead, but I don't think this app is just built for Stansfield, and to be honest, they'd be stupid to deal at Stansfield because it would be hot as fuck. So let's just take it back to something Effie made reference to in season 1.
You know, we ain't gotta stop here. We could go to homecoming weekend at the different schools, take over all the Ivy League.
I never thought of that.
Think about how big we can make it.
Together they could take over all the Ivy Leagues, and that's what they've put in motion in episode 2. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is something that covers all the Ivy Leagues, so technically a different version of course correct, but on a bigger scale. Now whether this is a stupid idea after Brayden burned course correct in court, who knows, but we don't know how well this app will run and how well it actually disguises as a front for drugs, so let's wait and see. But one thing is clear, they need to move product and they need to move it quick, otherwise Diana will find herself in danger. From episode 1, Obi's made it clear it's no secret he's not a fan of Noma's decision to give Tariq, Brayden, and Kane a chance. But Noma's the one who's making the decisions, not Obi. But Noma's actually in Paris, and so Obi is the man calling the shots.
I'm particularly looking forward to shooting you when you fail.
So I do think it's safe to say, Obi isn't exactly Tariq St. Patrick's biggest fan, and he made another huge demand, $1 million the next time they see each other, otherwise Diana dies. Now how they managed to find and take snaps of Diana, I'm sure they've been following Tariq St. Patrick and the rest of the crew, and pinpointing a weakness in their organization. In season 2, the way you could control Tariq St. Patrick was through Yasmin, but we all saw what lengths he went to protect her, so I'm sure he's gonna do the same with Diana so she doesn't catch a bullet either. So I really do think they need to come up with more than just a new version of course correct. Now one way they're gonna expand their territory is through Kane taking the lead with the Tejadas, but as the synopsis teases, it's gonna create a hell of a lot of tension between the Tejadas, because Lorenzo has never been a fan of falling behind Kane, but we all know he's got no choice. Now sooner or later this will definitely raise questions, because even if Monet is still grieving Zeke and wants out the game, neither her or Dru are stupid, and eventually they will question Lorenzo's decision to fall behind Kane. Let's not also forget, Lorenzo has always been saying it needs to be Dru who takes over the Tejada organization, but since Lorenzo's been released from prison, Dru has been a little hesitant in accepting he's next in line. But something changed in episode 2, he doesn't have the distractions of Ev, and I do think at some stage in season 3, there will be a battle for the throne. Now in terms of the trailer, Brayden says that he has an idea, but what's his plan? We know Effie's created this app, we know Kane's history and territory is the streets, but Brayden's territory is Wall Street. Whether he has another idea to expand further into Wall Street is yet to be seen, but let's see what he has planned. And could Lucas Weston play a part? Because I do think he could end up being a key player for Brayden and Tariq in Wall Street. There is a reason why he allowed Tariq to come on as an intern at Western Holdings, and I think similar to Brayden, I really do think he gets a kick and a thrill from being a bit of a rebel. Now, something that started to pick up steam after some hurdles is this RICO investigation. Jenny and Blanca Rodriguez were initially refused authorization, but when Kevin Whitman helped piece some of the puzzle together, Blanca said they'd get authorization by connecting Dante Spears to Monet. Now, we all know Kevin Whitman sets his eyes on someone, he obsesses until he gets that man or woman. He'll focus on that one target and completely lose sight of the bigger picture. Except the difference between this season and the last is, he is actually right about Monet being behind Carrie's death. He wants them to investigate Monet, and he says Carrie was one of them, a former prosecutor, and someone who used to work for law enforcement, putting criminals behind bars. So you get the sense that he definitely feels some kind of responsibility for what happened to Carrie, especially because during the early stages of season 2, he really came down hard on Carrie and Zeke, and both were wrong targets, but his hatred of what happened between them in the past definitely got in the way. So in season 3, he's out for justice, and we're gonna see him approach Monet at her bar. He's gonna press Monet and ask her to come in for a talk, and if she does, he'll take a step back. But we all know different, and so does Monet after their last exchange, which is why they'll need Davis more than ever before. So we're gonna see Davis, Monet and Tariq St. Patrick all in one room, and Tariq recognizes if Whitman is after Monet for Dante Spears, then he's gonna be on the radar as well, and he's not wrong. He's on top of the investigation board right next to Monet Tejada, although Davis does say he has a plan to move him out the way. But what complicates things with Davis is his brother. If Jenny somehow manages to get an unredacted version of Theo's file, then Cooper Saxe will be one step closer to uncovering the truth, and that's like holding a smoking gun in the direction of Davis. So this situation could get very messy for all parties, including Cooper Saxe and Detective Whitman. But these guys are having to work together because it's all in their best interest to get rid of Whitman and Saxe, although Saxe will prove to be a bit more tricky. They know Whitman is coming for them, but Saxe working undercover as Jenny's CI could be the key as they make headway in this RICO investigation. Now elsewhere, we're also going to see Tariq dropping yet another body. This is a scene from the official season trailer, which matches up with Brayden from the trailer from episode 3. And so at some stage, Brayden will definitely get himself into some hot bother, and he'll need Tariq to have his back. But Tariq won't always be there to protect Brayden, and at some point, he's going to have to get his hands dirty himself, and I do think his time is coming soon. So just like Monet wants Tariq to keep his head on a swivel, I think they all need to keep their head on a swivel. But that's a breakdown for the trailer for Go Season 3, Episode 3, an episode where the crew need to put an infrastructure in place and move their product quick, or Diana's in trouble. Even though we see Brayden, Tariq and Effie in full swing, we also know that this is something that will completely tear this family apart, Lauren's survival. Now with the Tejadas, Kane is now in charge, and Lorenzo's days really are numbered. But could Monet's be as well based on Detective Whitman's obsession? Drop all your thoughts down below on all things Season 3, Episode 3. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.